Here's what we're going to be doing today. And I'm going to start out by giving you a hint. It's a noir hint. What film noir? It's neo, this noir. It's espionage. It's international. It is very, very dark.
Allow me to introduce our American visitors. I must ask you to forgive their somewhat lackadaisical manners, but I have conditioned them, or brainwashed them, which I understand is the new American word, to believe that they are waiting out a storm in the lobby of a small hotel.
You haven't heard from me for a while. You remember my last episode ended with a dramatic moment involving this phone, which I carry with me, the way other people carry their cell phones. Hello? The fact is, some forces of darkness out there discovered that I am a principal warrior. That's a little dramatic. I am a principal advocate of the relatively good in a fight against the pretty effing evil. But that's not their official name. They don't formally refer to themselves as the pretty effing evil. It's my term. So because of this threat that came to my attention, I'm now underground. I don't like to say among the resistance because it's a little bit self-congratulatory. In the interim, where I have been out of, we could call it excommunicado for a few months, something's happened in the country. News reaches me where I live now. My plants, by the way, need more light. The opposition won. Our side lost. I haven't told you what movie we're going to be exploring today, or even what poem I'm going to be reading. It has to do with intrigue, espionage, and diabolical plots that are generated from two countries. One is North Korea, not a pleasant sort of place, right? North Korea. And the other's from Russia. Now, when I think of Russia, I think of many things. I think of the little dolls, one inside the other, certain Russian pastries. And I also think sometimes of the fellow who is the leader of the opposition and his affection for Putin, which he's demonstrated in many different ways. If you don't believe me, Google the number of times he has praised Putin. But there's one thing you might not know about, and it makes a nice little lead-in to this particular movie. This is something he was recorded as saying about the war in Ukraine and his feelings about Putin and that particular invasion into an independent country with a democratically elected president. They say Putin's smart. He is smart. I mean, he's taking over a country for $2 worth of sanctions. Trump told a crowd at a fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago. I'd say that's pretty smart. He's taking over a country, really a vast, vast location. A great piece of land. Yeah, I guess Ukraine, you could call it a great piece of land. A great piece of land with a lot of people in it. And they just walked right in. That's an interesting way to think about the invasion of a country. I just wanted to mention, not to get too serious or anything, but I looked up how many Russians died or were wounded in this attempt to seize another country. 600,000, well over 500,000, were killed or wounded. Apparently, they walked right in, and many of them did not walk out again. So, something interesting there about people in this country who have an affection for countries that do not wish us well. This is what we're going to be looking at today. Oh, this is a powerful movie. Oh, this is a strange movie. Came out in 1962. Disappeared for quite a while, wasn't accessible, and then was rediscovered in the 80s, and it is The Manchurian Candidate. It has Frank Sinatra, Angela Lansbury, Janet Leigh, and Lawrence Harvey, among others. Some terrific supporting evil actors, good actors playing evil characters. And it involves countries that do not wish us well. They didn't wish us well in 1962 when this movie came out, and they don't wish us well now. They would like to see us go down. The poem that we're going to talk about is one that has surfaced before. Right after 9/11, it became very interesting to people who were able to find in it many references and mentions that seem to have relevance to our times. And that was Auden's September 1st, 1939. That was the day that Hitler entered Poland, and the beginning of World War II. So how am I going to tie these two things together, this poem and this movie, with what is going on right now? Well, let's see about that now. The Russia connection. In The Manchurian Candidate, it opens with a situation of a regiment of soldiers who are captured during the U.S.'s involvement in the South Korean-North Korean War. They're captured by North Korean soldiers, and then they escape with the help of Lawrence Harvey's character, the officer who faces great danger to help them all escape. And when they get back to the United States, every one of them is haunted by this strange, weird dream, exactly the same weird dream. And it begins to trouble each one of them psychologically and emotionally. So something has happened that is beyond comprehension. There is a plot afoot. Oh, the most diabolical scheme. It involves brainwashing. This is very advanced hypnosis. And one of these characters is going to fall into such a deep spell. That is Lawrence Harvey. And the Frank Sinatra character is going to try to unravel this.
In the dream, I remember what you were doing with your hands. You were, of course.
Has he been programmed to do something terrible on behalf of North Korea and Russia? There's an evil Russian man. There's an evil North Korean man. There is a femme fatale, Angela Lansbury, who plays Lawrence Harvey, whose character's name is Raymond Shaw, who plays his mother. Oh.
Raymond, I'm your mother. How can you talk to me this way? You know I want nothing for myself. You know that my entire life is devoted to helping you and to helping Johnny, my boy.
The most diabolical, cold-blooded, ruthless, dangerous, massively dangerous and cunning femme fatale maybe in any movies.
Rallying a nation of television viewers into hysteria to sweep us up into the White House with powers that will make martial law seem like anarchy.
American citizens are in collusion with the North Koreans and the Russians to do something so deadly and so evil. This poem became quite popular after 9/11 because of several elements throughout the poem that seem to pertain to that moment in history, the destruction of the two towers. I looked at this poem again and I suddenly went, oh, this is curious, odd, because there are elements in here that seem to resonate with certain things going on today. When I think about dictators, I think of the opposition right now, where their leader has let's just say that some people say he's very friendly to dictators. He himself did say that he would like to be a dictator on day one. Something in here references that. There is also a reference to skyscrapers and a very curious verb that is used, because it's poetry, so you know, W.H. Auden was using figurative language. But listen to the verb of what the skyscrapers do to the sky, and keeping in mind that this individual we're talking about, who did okay in the last election, won by 1.6% of the popular vote, but no more than that. There's some other things in here too. I think there's imago, the word imago. That's a strange word. You're going to hear that. You're going to hear the word imago. It means an insect. Oh, what a horrifying word. An insect that has reached its full development, its final stage. Thucydides. He was an ancient historian who wrote about the Peloponnesian War. And there might be another couple little words in here. Links. You're going to hear that word. Hitler. That's his hometown, Linz. All right, I will be reading a excerpted version of this very long poem, and you can decide whether you hear anything. That poetry is supposed to be immortal, you know. It's supposed to never go out of style, and we'll see if you hear little things that that have something to do with our socio-political situation. September 1st, 1939, by W.H. Auden. I sit in one of the dives on 52nd Street, uncertain and afraid, as the clever hopes expire of a low, dishonest decade. Waves of anger and fear circulate over the bright and darkened lands of the earth, obsessing our private lives. The unmentionable odor of death offends the September night. Accurate scholarship can unearth the whole offense from Luther until now that has driven a culture mad. Find what occurred at Linz, what huge imago made a psychopathic God. I and the public know what all school children learn. Those to whom evil is done do evil in return. Exiled, Thucydides knew all that a speech can say about democracy and what dictators do, the elderly rubbish they talk to an apathetic grave, analyzed all in a book. The Enlightenment driven away, the habit-forming pain, mismanagement, and grief. We must suffer them all again. All I have is a voice to undo the folded lie, the romantic lie in the brain of the sensual man in the street, and the lie of authority whose buildings grope the sky. There is no such thing as the state, and no one exists alone. Hunger allows no choice to the citizen or the police. We must love one another or die. Okay. Auden later relented on that end. He took it back. He republished it so it would say, we must love one another and die. Because he wasn't that sentimental, he decided, that's ridiculous. Everybody's going to die anyway. But you know what? The public rejected that, and his editors rejected that. We said, we don't like that. We don't like that. Let's stick with we must love one another or die. Interesting what those skyscrapers do to the sky, huh? I wonder if any of them had a name on them. Okay, everybody, that's all I've got. I'm out of ideas, and all the good ideas are going to have to come from you out there now. Good night, ladies. Good night, gentlemen. And remember, look both ways, watch your back, and don't let anybody treat you like you're two for a dime.